Hi everyone, my name is Stephanie, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how technology affects romantic relationships. Many couples use their technology devices to stay connected to aspects outside of their relationship. An example of this could be checking social media, texting family and friends, using their phones and their apps. However, many couples experience trust issues when their partner has their phone out and around as the couple is engaging in conversation. This trust stems from the uncertainty of what is going to be coming through their partner's phones when they're engaging with one another. In response to this, I would like to study how couples overcome the use of technology in their relationships. Do they create rules on when it is acceptable to have their phones out, or is there an unsaid rule that they create through a trial and error process? Ultimately, will the presence of phones or other technologies result in more or less trust in their significant others? So first off, I focus my research on young people and technology. It has been said that many young people are losing their ability to communicate effectively, and that it is because of the over-excessive use of technology that they use in exchange for face-to-face communication. Connecting young people to technology and finding a correlation between their trust in relationships is an important aspect to discuss. Research conducted by Steve Hearn showed that many young people have a difficult time expressing their thoughts in depth when they engage in face-to-face conversation. Technology, specifically cell phone usage, may unintentionally be lowering trust in relationships for young people if they cannot articulate their thoughts in a face-to-face conversation with their partners. Further into his research, we found that young people now have a lack of confidence in themselves as they engage in their face-to-face communication. And most of that is from the forced notion of having to communicate solely through technology. Next, I focused on race and sexuality. Many people don't take into account that race and sexuality differs between different races and different sexualities. According to Anna Berkdahl and Associates, she conducted research on African American young adults and Puerto Rican young adults ranging from 18 to 29. And she observed how they use their cell phones to establish and maintain their relationships. Contrary to popular belief that all races or all sexualities use their phones in the same way to maintain their relationships, she found that African Americans and Hispanic young adults use their cell phones more than their white counterparts. Young people researched in the study attested to using their cell phone as a barrier to protect them from the unknown and uncomfortable situations. If most young people are using their phones as a way to say the uncomfortable or the undesired, this can lead to a lack of trust in romantic partners and exponentially increase this for African Americans and Hispanics who use their phones more than the white counterparts. Trust is built in the face-to-face portion of communication, and young people in certain races may find that they are less likely to be happy and trust their partner if they continually use their phones. Next, I focus on relational satisfaction. Though I think most people in older generations believe that phones are the destroying of the trust in good communication, a study done by Amy Miller-Ott and her associates found that many couples are actually very satisfied with their relationships and in correlation to their cell phone usage. One reason they have high rates of satisfaction in their cell phone usage is because couples are starting to follow these unsettled rules that they make. And there's 4 different rules that they have created, and that is contact with others includes rules about limiting calls and texts to other people when the 2 partners are together. Relational issues involves rules prohibiting partners from starting relational arguments over the phone. Repetitive contact reflects rules about the acceptability of calling or texting partners when they do not first respond, and monitoring their partner's usage of phone, including checking each other's text messages and looking at their call logs. Relationships that followed those 4 rules tend to be more happier than those who did not. Moving on to methods. For this research project, our class used Qualtrics software to do a survey. And on that survey, it was online, it was analyzed, drafted, and put out online through Qualtrics. So for the results, I had 52 respondents, of which most were age range from, the age range was 19 to 53, but the average age was 22. I had 38% males, 57% female, and I had, for the NL, that means not listed, 4%. And then out of the 52 that responded, the majority of them were single. At the end of my survey, I asked everyone to complete the following short answer question. How do you think relationships have changed due to the excessive amount of cell phone usage? Most of the themes that came up in the responses had to do with trust issues, temptations, and the fact that conversation was becoming less and less personal. Most issues with trust, according to the responses, had to do with not knowing what was coming through the other person's cell phone and not knowing who the significant other was talking to at all times. Temptations came up quite a bit, and this was because since their partners didn't know who they were going to be talking to, it made it a lot easier for them to hide secret crushes and hide certain people that they were talking to from their partner. Lastly, overall, the majority of the respondents agreed that communication was starting to become less and less personal. And this was because most serious conversations were happening through text message, and that removed the necessary face-to-face communication that all the relationships need to maintain healthy communication. In conclusion, cell phone usage among romantic partners continues to increase and continues to change the way partners interact with one another. Demographics surrounding this particular academic question are those in the age range of 18 to 29 and are most affected by this. Young people use their cell phones now more than ever as a way to establish, maintain, and break romantic relationships. Many in the age described use the cell phone as a medium to help them communicate the difficult subject that they would rather not say in person. Even though there are some, perhaps, misuses of cell phone, overall, couples in romantic relationships report that cell phone usage is not as huge a factor in mistrust against their partner as many have predicted. Most that were born in or are learning to adapt to a technology-filled world have been socialized to know the right and wrong times to use the cell phone in their romantic relationships, which keeps tensions and uncertainty low. After analyzing the results from the online survey, results found that most participants use their cell phone over 360 times a day, suggesting that it could have a heavy effect on how they interact with others in social settings, as well as, most importantly, in their romantic relationships. Most participants believe that technology did not help trust issues or help promote temptations to lead to less face-to-face communication.